is Tammy Moniz with Faith Surf School and Moniz Family Surf. And I am your host for Surfers in Residence at the beautiful Outrigger Waikiki Resort. Today, I have a special gem in our beautiful treasure box of surfers we have. His name is Duane DeSoto. I'm so glad to have you. Dwayne.
Thank you, Auntie Tammy. I'm excited to be a part of this.
Yeah, well, Dwayne is a special guy. Has a story and multiple stories of being raised in Makaha, a beautiful place and a community of his own. And he's also the 2010 Men's Longboard World Champion. Hello. And the 2015 Duke Kahanamoku WATERMAN
Hall of Fame inductee.
Hall of Fame inductee. Excuse me, okay? I didn't know that one. So now today we're going to let everybody know, okay? And also a father of 8 beautiful children, 2 of which we have here. And you're also the founder of Nakamakai. Not only you, of course, but you and your family are founders of Nakamakai. And the last thing is he is portrayed Duke Kahanamoku in this new film that's coming out that we're super excited. I got to see it and so excited, so blessed. So welcome, Dwayne.
Thank you.
Yeah. So first of all, we want to just tell a story, not just because we can find out information about you by Googling, but we want to find out a little bit more about you. So what is it like living, growing up in Makaha and growing up on the beach with the community?
It's funny because Makaha has so many different meanings to so many different people here in Hawaii, being the west side and et cetera, et cetera. Even for me as a kid, Makaha meant something different than it does to me now as an adult. It was such a beautiful place, but it was also, rough when I was a kid, rough in so many ways. And but we had amazing people. And the resources of people was something that really didn't dawn on me until I was an adult. As I looked back and recognized that I was surrounded by so many incredible water people and so many incredible people in general that came out of Makaha, it was, kind of like knocking on the door of, I have responsibilities that are bigger than I ever realized. And that responsibility shaped itself over time, what it meant. It shaped itself over time, whether I was having children, getting married, that evolution into adulthood. And just realizing one of the key things was that even though maybe we didn't have a lot of money when I grew up in Makaha, we were fairly, on a lower scale of finances. We definitely were blessed with so much other than money. And that those blessings could be a part of sort of re-looking at the world and appreciating things in a different way.
Well, today you have a big family of your own, and you have 8 children. I just want you to share their names and their ages, with everyone.
Yeah, well, I got to start off with the matriarch, my wife, Malia, who has blessed me with my beautiful 8 children. And it starts off with my daughter, Makaha. She's 24. And then my son, Micah, he is 23. He's now giving me a grandson who turns 1 in November, so grandpa. And then it goes down to Keanuenue. She's going to turn 18 soon in October. She's in college in New York. Then we have Pua Makamai, my 16-year-old, who I get to tag along with her surfing adventures. And then Kalano Veo, he's my 13-year-old, chasing his sister's surfing tail. Wants to be in the spotlight over there too. And then I have my 11-year-old Hokuvelo, who's also loving the ocean. It's so great. I love my babies being in the water. And then we have my daughter Honua. She's 8 years old. And then it goes down to my 2-year-old Wailana. So full range, 3 boys, 5 girls, and a grandson.
So good. And don't ask me to remember their names. I really can't. Good thing that they have short abbreviations of names, you know. But yeah, they're beautiful, beautiful children. Love to.
I never thought I'd be the one who'd have to go through a few of their names before I get the right one, but apparently I am.
Yes.
Every now and then.
How is it like when you have to give their birth dates? When someone goes, "Oh, you know, what is her birth date?" And you're like, "Birth date, right?"
The day of the year, I got it. The year, I'm always doing the reverse math.
Yes.
That's the hard part, remembering the year.
It's so funny, gosh. It's going to be a test of time. What is one of your most treasured family moments that you can remember?
I tell you, it's pretty simple. The most treasured family time that we have every year is when our family comes together at the Buffalo's Big Board Contest at Makaha. It's almost like a natural setting as a reunion for all of us. We all know we want to be down there. It's just great to, surf with my dad, my Uncle Bruce, my Uncle Ronald, my cousins. When Grandma and Papa were alive, they were definitely at the beach for the buffs, and that really represented the time for us to, be very competitive too. Mm-hmm. Our family's very competitive, and they love it. So it's like a very positive, competitive platform for us, and we're all sitting there just cheering each other on, and sometimes heckling or cheering on the other families because they're all lined up down the beach at Makaha. So it is beautiful. It's kind of like that representation of that community we live in, that family.
It's beautiful. What is one thing you feel like you're intentionally passing down or wanting to pass down to your children as they're growing up?
One of the things that really sticks with me is, especially growing up at Makaha, is legacy and Kuleana. We're really blessed to have had people like Uncle Buff and the different uncles who, as they were just surfing and living in the ocean, they were inevitably, though, handing down the traditions to, like my dad, them, and then my generation, and it's happening again generations after that. I just, if you look at it, it's just amazing. Because especially we're going to go into this later with Duke's legacy, that impact that if you really think about it, Duke got that from somewhere, right? And that's the beautiful part, is that he didn't invent it, but he was definitely perpetuating it, living it, just through action and daily and surfing, just being a surfer, being a water person, and then it just has the ripples that continue to flow through all the generations later. It's profound when you think about it, to have a sport that comes from our kupuna, and all of a sudden that enjoyment and that athleticism has really rippled throughout the entire world. And we're a part, I have the beautiful opportunity to share it with my 8 children. They're gonna, we're sharing it with my grandson. That's amazing.
So something that you had just said was it's your legacy in Kuleana. Could you explain to us, what does Kuleana mean?
So, of course, I'll give you my interpretation of Kuleana. For me, Kuleana is the privilege to carry on responsibilities that have presented themselves and also been handed down to me. So some Kuleana have come from within my family. Others have come from being in an amazing relationship with my wife. And then other Kuleana has presented itself over time through just experiences. And, I've always believed that once you know something, then you have a different responsibility towards it. And that's, it's an interesting thing to be a part of an evolving world that we're in. We need to be open-minded in a way that says, okay, maybe I didn't know or understand something before, but now that I do, how am I going to embrace this? How am I going to, for instance, like our environment, you know, for some people who aren't completely connected to the environment, as a surfer might be, they'll have a different perspective of that responsibility. And then I realized, even as a surfer, my perspective of that Kuleana towards the environment was also shaped in a certain way where I still had more to learn, you know, and being open to it and understanding the, you know, the vast amount of ways that we as human beings should be better, you know. And our kupuna all taught us that. Our kupuna lived in that balance. So, you know, the sustainability and all of the word phrasing and hashtagging now is only going back to traditions that were normal for most indigenous peoples. But now it's, you know, catchy, or maybe it's even important to some people that, that they're going to be emphasizing it and trying to change. But, you know, Kuleana definitely is something that I think also means that there's phases of it. You know, it doesn't mean being 100% about everything. If you need to learn about it and become engaged, take your time. You know, like, it's not about being 100% on one side or the other. There's not about being extreme. Yeah. It's about learning stuff and then embracing them and then adding them to your plate, adding them to your wealth of knowledge.
Wow, thank you so much. That's really a lot. Thank you. I love that it's, when I hear Kuleana, and I'm learning that word, you know, as when you guys came up with that song, it's your Kuleana. There's a song that's out, and I would highly recommend you guys listen to that from Kimi A, right? Yeah. And all the kids. But, you know, I watch it and I think, okay, it's your responsibility, but I just love the way that you said it's the honor, right? Is that what you said?
And the privilege.
And the privilege of having that responsibility. That's really beautiful. I brought tears to my eyes because, you know, it's a different level of taking on life and responsibility. It's not just a chore, and it's not meant to be a chore. I love that. Right. It's not so beautiful.
Forced, yeah.
It's not forced. Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you. So, along with all these beautiful, deep things, you've also, you're also a world champion, you know? And what's amazing is that you won in your own home, right?
Yeah.
So tell us what that was like. That was just amazing.
Yeah, it's a funny story because literally, I mean, perseverance is the key word. It gives me chicken skin because, I mean, I won in 2010. I'd been doing the world title event since 1993. So it took me, you know, what is that? 17 years or 18 attempts to do it. And, you know, it was ironic, too, to win the world title was always a goal. But eventually it was like, I don't know, you know, I'm getting older. Is it really going to happen? So, okay. So I'm moving on in my life, wife, children, start a nonprofit, things that became more meaningful to me. And it was neat because in 2008, I started Nakamakai. 2010, I won the world title. And my wife and I have spoke about this almost as if I wasn't defined by trying to win the world title anymore. And I won so many events here in Hawaii and various traveling that people thought I had multiple world titles already. So it's kind of like, no, I didn't get one yet. But it was super neat to like get to that point where, like, especially like Nakamakai, that extension of all of that time in the ocean, that extension of me being from Makaha, all coming out into this community engagement, which made me actually feel like I'm a human being who gives and does things that are satisfying on a not selfish level, you know? And then bam, I had come into this place where I was in the right physicality, mentality, and won the world title. And oh my God, it was at home. Yes. It was in front of my family. in front of my friends. And let me tell you, Antoine Del Pro, who got second, you know, the guy surfs amazing. You know, it was him and Rusty in the semi and me and Bonga in the semi. So I wasn't, you know, by any means feeling like that final was a lock, you know, and I did not want my French buddy to beat me at home. That's not good. That's not happening, buddy. You know, so it's like, stay focused. And it was just, it was great to just have the wrap right there, you know, having a party on the beach with my friends and family afterwards. It wouldn't have been the same somewhere else in the world. And you know, I have these vivid memories when I was in my final heat and prior to my final heat of sitting in the water and super zoned out on like clouds and mountains and everything in and around me, and just seeing all the ho'ailonas, you know, the messaging coming, and it was like, oh, super chicken skin before the heat even started.
Wow.
And then just, you know, just Holomua following through. Yeah, it was beautiful.
I hope we could see that. I don't know if I've watched that in the last 10 years, right? 10 years ago, 11 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow, beautiful. But those memories stay really strong inside of your core, you know? So we talk a lot about Nakamakai. I mean, that's been talked about throughout from the beginning. And, you know, some of you might be wondering, what is Nakamakai? And would you briefly like share what Nakamakai is?
Sure. Nakamakai is a nonprofit that that I was able to found in 2008, which was with the help of like my wife, her friend Mary, and then of course all of my family, and all rooted in basically, for me, bottom line is it's a mini cosm of Makaha. And sharing it and providing access to everybody else to have that sort of interaction with mentors, ocean, and then having Kuleana to ocean, community, and self. So, I mean, simply put, we teach kids, well, not teach even, more, we empower youth by putting them in the ocean. So if that experience is fun, if that experience is gentle, then they create a bond. And then through that bond, all the educational parts fall into place. You know, the relationship with the ocean creates the commitment to the environment. Within that, you're going to learn the safety sides to everything. And then also, you know, when you're there being mentored by all of those volunteers, the amazing people that really make up Nakamakai, then you have this different sense of community. And you realize that it's coming from people who are just giving their time and their love and their passion for the ocean. So it's really, you know, at the end of the day, you know, one of my biggest inspirations was Auntie Rel in particular. And what it is the Kuleana is that opportunity. It's an opportunity to give perspective. So like that perspective is coming from where we're from. That perspective is then coming from the legacies of our kupuna. So it's, for me, as real as it can be as far as getting a true cultural connect to ocean, and in a way that is meaningful in a long term in the legacy side of it.
Wow. Okay. That's so good. Like, I'm gonna have to rewatch this so I can learn. I mean, it's like you're so eloquent as well in communicating, Dwayne. Thank you. I feel like we've learned so much of not just who you are, but it's like you're passing down something inside of us, inside of me, and connecting things. And I'm feeling like that I might do myself, but it never had words to explain the feelings I have. So it's so beautiful. Thank you so much. The last thing before I leave you, I got to see the WATERMAN, the documentary on Uncle Duke Kahanamoku, and it was so fascinating. It's like it brings tears to my eyes. And you know, Dwayne got to portray Uncle Duke. How was that? And did you take something more than what you expected?
Well, first of all, it's daunting, so I really didn't feel comfortable. You know, yeah, that's a big pair of shoes to fill figuratively and realistically. He has huge feet, yeah. But yeah, you know, I mean, I want to start off by saying that this documentary called WATERMAN is being directed by a Polynesian and has great perspectives, you know, and brings up amazing stories that haven't been told very often about Duke. Isaac did some great research behind some of the stories that didn't necessarily have what I would say is a white counterpart, which most of the videos or photos of Duke that are famous always had a white counterpart at the time, because we're talking about racial inequities, right? And Isaac did a great job of bringing up stories that have been basically overlooked over time as well. And the opportunity in this documentary to give the community and the world a chance to see who Duke was and what he did at you know, in the time of like 1915, in that era, is a testament that says things way beyond the surfing, way beyond the ocean, but even more so about, sometimes we use the word incorrectly or abuse it, but aloha. And Duke had such an amazing personality and style to him that he was loved by every single person of every color that he met. Like, he was embraced by everyone in a way that really shifted, I think, even how maybe those people in particular viewed colored people. You know, really was, I think, life-changing when they met Duke. And that comes out through the story that's being told in WATERMAN, and Isaac does a great job of weaving that magic of, yes, Olympics, and then he spread surfing around the world, but it didn't stop there. It really extended into so many other amazing avenues of humanity. So, I mean, I got blessed to be a part of it in the sense of reenacting the surfing footage and some of the swimming footage that we couldn't find, basically. So that was super cool, you know, replicating 1915, 1920, and it was just a privilege and an honor to be a part of it.
So on the film, you got to ride an old board. I mean, a replica of an old board that Pohaku Stone shaped. Yeah. Tell me what that was like.
It's amazing. To ride a board that would have basically been what Duke and all the Beach Boys would have been riding was, you know, the opportunity to step outside of everything else we know about surfing. You know, for me, Makaha, I ride all the surfboards anyway. I'm not just shortboard, longboard, you know. But this is like another level. And, you know, taking a 100-pound surfboard with no fin, we got to go and surf perfect little Makaha, as you'll see in the footage. And just, I feel like this. When I get on that board, I feel like, okay, listen, the board is so big and heavy that you have to reprogram yourself to hear the board, to feel the board, because you're not going to get on it and do this, you know. So you get on it and feel, okay, oh, you like that. Oh, you know, going in my head as I'm on the wave, like, you don't like that. You kind of dip the nose and just have, like, you create a relationship. It's kind of funny. I don't know if that sounds odd, but
No.
But just flowing with it and letting the board tell me what I need to do and where I need to put it in the wave. And go through that process.
That's really beautiful, because when I watched it, I was watching you ride that thing going, oh gosh, that is scary, especially in Makaha, in the end with the backwash, and I'm just like, ooh, there goes the nose. At times I was like, I don't think you made that one. But we have a beautiful replica of one of those boards in the lobby of the Outrigger Waikiki here. So if you ever are down here to join us, come and check it out. Well, my name is Tammy Moniz. This is Duane DeSoto, and we say aloha to you. Thanks for joining us.